Hello, everybody. My name is Rex, and welcome to another episode of Let's Build a Zoo in Minecraft. In today's episode, I will be showing you guys around the zoo. So, basically, I will be showing you guys everything that I built from episode 1 all the way to episode 39, and it's a world tour. There we go. That's a very short explanation. But to the old viewers, I have rebuilt the enclosures as I said in the previous episodes. So I will show you guys the new enclosure style as we go on through the video. And I do know that my zoo is not scientifically accurate or realistic. So please don't point that out in the comment section because I do realize that. So without any further ado, let's begin. Alright, the major difference that I have done to the entrance is that I have removed the old sign which said only zoo to now Rex's Zoo or Rex Zoo. Now I know I can make this say Rex's Zoo, but it didn't align well with the word zoo below it and looked kind of weird. So that is the reason I decided to choose Rex Zoo instead of Rex's Zoo. And I think it looks pretty nice. Now that is the only main change that I have done to the entire entrance. Other than that, the whole entrance looks normal. Alright, after you go through the entrance, this is where you take the tickets from. This is the ticket booth. So after taking the tickets, if you go further, you will see that there are two lion statues. These are inspired from Connor Boyce's video. I will leave a link to the video in the description, so go check it out. Now I am planning on adding more vegetation around here, but I'm not sure how I want to do that. So that is why it looks kinda empty and open field, I guess. But if we go further, there is a fountain. This is supposed to be like a central area, even though it's not in the center. But yeah, if you take a right from here, you will enter the aquatic zone. The first thing that you will see in the aquatic zone is this big aquarium. The aquarium is filled with tropical fish, salmon, cod, and pufferfish. Now there are sea pickles, corals, and stuff like that as well. I try to make it like a very nice looking ocean. I'm not sure how to explain it, but that is what I went for, and I think it looks pretty neat. This isn't really that big, but I think it does the job. But if you take a left from the aquarium, you will be going towards the seal enclosure. Now there is two ways of seeing the seal. You can one go down below and see them underwater, or you can see them from above. But you have this, I'm not sure what to call this, maybe like garden-esque area with a bunch of bamboos, a small pond slash lake, and some trees. So let me show you guys how the underwater section looks. But before that, we have four aquariums, like these kind of aquariums filled with jellyfish and a tropical fish. Now each aquarium contains two jellyfish and one tropical fish, and also a different coral. So this one has pink coral and this one has a red coral. So we have one over here, or we have two over here, and we have two over here. So that is what I went for, just to have these aquarium tubes, I guess you can call them. And I think they came out pretty well. I really like these a lot. And the jellyfish do sometimes get stuck in the floor, as you can see, but they do end up coming back up. But this is how the jellyfish look. Alright, let me show you guys how the underwater section looks. Now this is the entrance. This is where you enter from. So you go down over here, and if you go over here, we have this glass wall where you can see the seals from. Now I do agree that this glass wall isn't really good and you can't see the seals really well, but this was my fault. I didn't realize how small flat walls were on Bedrock, and this turned out to be a very horrible plan, but I'm too lazy to remove it or change it, so I left it the way it is. But yeah, that is how it looks. But if you go from the top, which is over here, you get a better view. You can see that there are currently 4 seals in the enclosure. If we go up, this is where the seals can, just come on land and do their stuff. And this is supposed to be a raft where the seals could just jump up and rest for a while and jump back in to the water. And this is how the seals look. I think they look pretty cute. They do look kind of weird in the front, but it's fine. But yeah, we have 4 seals over here. But there is also another enclosure, which is the pink jungle dolphin enclosure. But sadly, I forgot to redo it. So just imagine that this didn't exist. I will show you guys how it looks later after I'm done with it. But for now, just imagine that it doesn't exist. Now let's move on to the mammal enclosures. Alright, for the lion enclosure, there are 2 forest areas. So there's one over there and there's one over there. So I added these so the lions can have like a cool place for them to sleep, because I feel like sleeping in the open field is very hot and uncomfortable. So yeah, I added 2 forest areas, and I did add a pond for them to swim around and drink water from. And there is this big rocky area where they could just sit down and look majestic, I guess. I'm not sure. And there is this elevator thing. So this is supposed to be like an underground elevator. So the elevator goes down, the zookeepers fill the elevator with live animals, and it comes back up, and the lions hunt them and eat them. So this is kind of inspired from Jurassic Park, and that is where I took the inspiration from. So there is that is all for the lion enclosure. Now this is how the lions look. There is one male lion, so there is that, and there are 2 lionesses. So this is how they look. Now the next enclosure I built is anteater enclosure, if I'm not wrong, which is over here. Now in the anteater enclosure, there is a fallen log, there is a ant hill for them to eat ants from, and also there's a small pond for them to drink water from. Now this is how the anteaters look. They look pretty cool. I really like the colors. They have this long snout and fluffy tail. And in the most of the enclosures, I will be adding like fallen logs. I really like fallen logs. So heads up, there's going to be a bunch of fallen logs in the enclosures. And there are animals that have escaped, like one over there. I will tell you the story behind it in a minute. But the next enclosure is a tortoise enclosure. Now this is how the tortoise look. For some reason they're always underwater, but that's totally fine. It's their life. But there is a water area for them to drink water from. We have like this tree stump. Is that what you call it? I think. But we have this thing over here for them to climb up and do exercise and stuff. I'm not sure. And there is this big tree with a lantern in it. Now people can climb up the enclosure, so I have added barrier blocks so they can't climb up. And if we go over here, here is the otter enclosure. I have made this small river replica for them to swim around, and I think this looks pretty good. Now the otters are very fast underwater, like extremely fast. And I think they look pretty cute. They are very fast on land and water. And as I said, there is a fallen log in this enclosure as well. And I think this enclosure came out really well. I really like it a lot. I think it's pretty neat. I could have done a better job, but it's fine. The next enclosure is a camel enclosure. Now this enclosure also doubles as a ride. So this is where people can ride the camels. Now you can add saddles to the camels, but I'm not sure how to do it, so that is why I haven't done it yet. Now I went for a desert theme for this enclosure, and I think I did a pretty good job. There are these palm trees with coconuts. Now I did use cocoa beans as coconuts because we don't have coconuts in Minecraft. So yeah, I think I did a pretty good job. So we have palm trees, and we also have like these shelters where they can sleep in if they ever feel tired. And I'm really proud how. Wait, what? I'm really proud on how this came out. I really like how it looks. So yeah, this is the camel enclosure. Alright, the next thing that I will be showing you guys is the toy store. So let's go in. Now once you enter the toy store, you have these two people who are waiting to sell you stuff. But basically in the toy store, I'm using plushies add-on. Now the add-on will be linked in the description, so go check it out. But we have wither plushies, fox plushies, and we have dolphin plushies. There are a bunch more plushies as well. Like there's literally plushies of everything, as you can see, and these plushies are posable, so they have different poses that you can make them sit on, I guess. Is that the right sentence? I'm not sure. But yeah, this is how the toy store looks, and I think this looks pretty good. These are supposed to be like lamps, so yeah, there is that. Oh yeah, by the way, this escaped horse is actually from the petting zoo, which is over here. So basically, this petting zoo has like the everyday life animals, which you see normally. So yeah, as you can see, there's an alpaca which is running away. Now these guys escaped due to this. They just climbed up and they jumped. So there is that. But the petting zoo contains animals like horses, mules, donkeys, cows, sheep, goat, pigs, what else? Llamas, alpacas, rabbits, chinchillas. So, yeah, like just the normal day animals that you see. So, we have a pond for the animals to drink water from. There's a beehive. So, there are bees over here. That is the reason I planted a bunch of flowers for them to pollinate and stuff. And we have some chairs for the people to sit down while their kids or family members are, checking out the animals. But there's this big barn over here. This is actually one of my favorite builds in the entire zoo. But let's go inside. As you can see, like this carpet design is so cool, and I'm really sorry for the vehicle noises. It's becoming very early in the morning, so there are quite a few vehicles that are traveling around. But we have rabbits and we have chinchillas over here, so there is that. But if you climb up over here, this is the attic. I really like the carpet design. Once again, the color and everything fits so well, and this attic has to be one of my favorite builds in the entire zoo. Like, this is such a cool build. It gives me such a warm feel, I guess you could say. So basically there is animal food, we have some chests, we have some whatever these are called, we have some target blocks and actually fletching table, not target blocks. But yeah, this is the attic. This looks pretty cool. So there is that. That is all we have for the petting zoo. There is nothing really that cool. I do have to make sure to change this after 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 recording. So there is that. But if we go over here, we have the panda enclosure. Now this is one of the simplest looking enclosures. I did try to replicate the jungle biome, but in a less congested way. I'm not sure how to say it, but there is more space for the pandas to walk around and stuff. So we have some trees, we have some bamboos, we also have a small pond for them to drink water from, but we also have a angry panda. So there is that. This is like one of my favorite enclosures only due to that one panda over there. So there is that. The next enclosure is the bird enclosure, and I should just reduce me saying that is that or this is that or whatever I was saying before. But okay, it's called there is that. Okay, never mind. But yeah, this is the bird enclosure. There are a bunch of birds inside, so I'm not sure what kind of birds are there, so I can't like name all of them. But we have birds like parrots, swans, cockatoos, hummingbirds, just normal generic birds. We do have, okay, these are the normal generic birds. This is how they look. And we also have these platforms for them to rest on after they have done their flying. And we also have a small pond for them to swim around in. And we do have barn owls as well. This is how they look. But overall, this is a very, very cool enclosure, one of my favorites for sure. And somehow, that's a duck, by the way. Somehow, the cockatoos are breeding and they are laying eggs. This is actually their egg. So, there is that. That is how there are so many cockatoos around the place. I see. But we have ducks and we have hummingbirds. These are the hummingbirds. That is how they look. We also have normal parrots, which are, of course, in the game. But yeah, as I said, we have these platforms and stuff like that. But this is a very, very cool enclosure. But after that, if you exit from over here, can we? There we go. We have Rex's restaurant. Now, this is a brand new thing that I added thanks to the chiseled letter stone block add-on. So there is that. Once again, link in the description. But yeah, I added a sign so people know what is over here. But this is a restaurant, so people can come here and sit down. So we have some outdoor tables, but we do have some indoor tables as well. But this hotel or this restaurant was inspired from an actual restaurant that I saw on the internet. So there is that. This is actually very complicated. I know it doesn't look like that, but to me, figure out how to make the two roof work well and not look weird, it was very, very complicated, and me just saying that made it more complicated. So very nice. But once you come inside, we have a bunch of tables for the people to sit down, and under these carpets there are actually sea lanterns for some light. But here is the cooking space. We have some furnaces, we have a brewing stand, we have a sink. I am using a, what's it called, a campfire to give that smoky effect. We also have a exhaust, so there is that. And I think this came out really, really well. Now there are barrier blocks which are keeping the villagers from escaping, so there is that. So there's the cake. But yeah, that is the restaurant, and I think this came out pretty decent. I was actually expecting this to come out way better, but it's fine. I think it came out pretty neat. So let me show you guys the next enclosure, which is over here. This is the gorilla enclosure. Now the stone area over here is supposed to look like a throne, so that is the reason why it looks like a big chair. So King Kong can come and sit down. So King Kong. Yeah, I know, pretty bad joke. It wasn't even a joke, so I don't know why I said it's a joke. But yeah, that is the thing that is supposed to represent. It is supposed to be a throne for a gorilla to come and sit down. But basically, other than that, this is just built to replicate a jungle, like a less congested jungle, just like the Panda Enclosure. We do have more space for the gorillas to move around, and of course a vehicle disturbs me. But yeah, this is a very decent looking enclosure. This is how the gorillas look. They look pretty cool as usual. Here's a baby gorilla, and yeah, we have this small pond for them to swim around and drink water from, I guess. I'm not really sure. But if we go over here, we have a fox enclosure. Now I forgot to spawn in the Arctic fox, but this is where the Arctic fox is supposed to be. Okay, let me check if there are Arctic fox plushies. There should be, right? So yeah, this is where the Arctic fox are supposed to stay. So we have these cold region biome enclosure over here, and this is where the normal foxes are supposed to stay. This is why they are sleeping. So we have the normal foxes over here. This represents the tiger biome. That is why I have added berry bushes, spruce spruce trees and also some, I forgot what it's called. Podzol. There we go. But yeah, this is supposed to be like an icicle or whatever it's called. I call it ice pickles, but I know it has a different name. So here is the leopard enclosure. I'm sorry if you hear vehicle noises in the back. It's quite early in the morning now. That is how long it took me to record this video. But yeah, it's 5:11 a.m. But if you go down over here, we have a den for the leopards to just relax and sleep in. And this is how the leopards look. They look pretty cool, I guess. I'm not sure. And this is where like the food will be delivered to them. So there is that. This is where they can drink water from. And yeah, that is literally everything that is there in the leopard enclosure. Now if we move on to the bison enclosure, this is one of the biggest enclosures that I have built in the zoo. But this enclosure has a pond, a fallen log, and it also has these things. So these things are actually like targets for the bisons to hit their head against, right? So that is what I was going for. And once again, I'm very sorry for the vehicle noises, even though it's not my fault, but I'm sorry. But yeah, this is for them to hit their head against. Now, for some reason, I thought it was a very good idea to place hay bales, and now literally three bisons are stuck inside the hay bales. So that is fantastic. So this is how the bisons look. They look pretty huge, but you should keep in mind that bisons in real life are extremely very huge. So there is that. But if we go over here, here is a red panda enclosure. Now the red pandas are actually stuck in the cauldrons. So there is that. I will have to make sure to remove them and place barrier blocks above the cauldrons. But this is how the red pandas look. Now I built this castle thing for them to climb up and down from. I know my viewers keep on telling me what this is called, but I keep on forgetting, so I'm very sorry. But yeah, this is like a castle thing for them to climb up and down from. And if we move over here, here is a raccoon enclosure. The raccoon enclosure is very similar to the red panda enclosure, except this is a little bit different. The castle thing, and I did add a fallen log as well over here. This is how the raccoons look. They look pretty cool, I guess. I'm not sure. But other than that, we have a tiger enclosure over here. We have two normal tigers and we have one white tiger. Now we have this stone platform for them to sleep and sit on, and we also have a fallen log. We have a place for the food to arrive. We also have bone blocks. I thought it was a very cool idea to add them, and they weirdly suit the enclosures. So there is that. And there's a pond for them to drink water from. Next enclosure is a cassowary enclosure. Now in this enclosure we have a armor stand and a berry bush. And by the way, this is how the cassowaries look. They look pretty big, even though they're not actually that huge, but they do get to a pretty decent size in real life. Like, these guys are big. But the reason that I added the berry bush is because in real life, cassowaries actually eat a lot of fruits, but we don't really have fruits in Minecraft. So the closest thing that I could find is, of course, a berry bush, and I decided to add them. And I decided to add armor stands with shields is because, if you don't know, cassowaries actually attack by kicking, which is kind of cool and scary. And I thought it would be a very funny thing if I go ahead and add a armor stand with a shield. So whenever they get angry, they could just kick the shields and take their anger off. I know, kind of weird, but you know what? That is the cassowary enclosure. And if we go over here, this is the mini enclosure building. So basically, I have built enclosures over here that I didn't want to spend an entire episode on. So we have a lizard enclosure, we have two lizards, we have a chameleon enclosure, we have frog enclosure, we have a snake enclosure, and we have axolotl enclosure. Now all of these look pretty cool. I am planning on adding more stuff into the building because we do have some open areas around the place, and I do want to build more mini enclosures in the future. So yeah, more enclosures like these will definitely be popping up. But if we fly over here with our firework rockets, so let's fly. We have, why was that so weird? We have a peacock enclosure. Now we have two peacock and two peahen. Now the peacock look like this. I can't speak today, my accent is like going everywhere. But the peacock look like these. Oh god, I can't speak. What is wrong with me? The peacocks look like these, and the peahens look like these. The peahens are less colorful than the peacocks. Now I didn't know why they were less colorful, but someone in the comment section told me that the reason the peahens are brown or not so colorful is because they want to like camouflage and protect their eggs, right? Because if they are very colorful, they can be hunted down easily. And yeah, that's the reason I think they are not that colorful. But I may be wrong, you can always let me know in the comment section below. Yeah, look at this, oh, we just missed it. But yeah, they do lift up their feathers. Alright, so here is the hippo enclosure. Now in the hippo enclosure, I decided to add a mud bath. That is what the soul sand is supposed to represent. Now I will be changing the soul sand with soul soil once the nether update is out. But yeah, the soul sand is supposed to represent the mud puddles. Look, I'm not sure what they're called. I'm really sleepy. So let's just keep going. But this is supposed to represent the mud baths that the hippos are supposed to take. And yeah, this is how the hippos look. For some reason, they get stuck on this one block and they start spinning like forever. And it's kind of annoying. But you know what? Hippos are hippos. They can do whatever they want. I did try to go for a savanna theme for this enclosure. And if we go down below over here, we have hippos that are swimming. Now, once again, as I told, for some reason, these guys just keep on swimming in one block area and they never get out. Like, never. So, well, they are stuck forever. But if we go over here, we have a mole enclosure. I almost forgot what these guys were called. And this is how the moles look. Now, they do look very weird when they are like digging around. They look very squished or dead, any one of those. But yeah, they look very weird and I don't mind it, but they look very weird. Now these guys gave me so much trouble while I was building their enclosure. Like these guys like dig around, they literally dig blocks, like dirt blocks. So just an advice, if you're trying to make a mole enclosure, please don't let them or don't give them any chance to just dig away, because once they start digging, oh my god, it is so painful to get them back and it's so annoying. So yeah, that's an advice for you over there. But this is supposed to be like mud, like the dug up mud of the moles. And I do realize that in real life moles could just dig away from this enclosure, but this is Minecraft, so that's totally fine. But that is the mole enclosure, nothing really special, like the normal stuff. So there is that. And if we go over here, here is a crocodile enclosure. We have 4 crocodiles, and this is the bridge where you're supposed to see the crocodiles from. I should have made it a little bit more closer, but that's fine. Now I have added a crane over here that drops down alive animals so the crocodiles can eat them. This was inspired from Jurassic Park, and Jurassic World. Like in Jurassic Park, the crane drops a cow for the velociraptors to eat, and in Jurassic World, the crane drops meat for the Indoraptor to eat. That's a lie, the Indominus Rex to eat. So that is where I got inspired from to build a crane. Of course, the crane isn't functional. It wouldn't be in real life because there's literally no buttons, no lever, no nothing. But you know what? It looks cool, so it's fine. I did try to go for a cinematic, that's a lie. My god, what is wrong with me? I tried to go for a savannah theme, and this is how it looks. Pretty normal, like the other enclosures. But now let's move on to the enclosures which are over here. The next enclosure is an Asian elephant enclosure. Now, for some reason, all the elephants are stuck in this place. I'm not sure why, but I went for a jungle theme. That is why there are big jungle trees and also some bamboo. Now, I did decide to leave some space for the elephants to walk around, but they ended up getting stuck. And if we go over here, I have some space between the walk path and the enclosure. Now this is because I saw a image on the internet where they actually dug up the space between the enclosure and the walk path, so the elephants cannot like just jump over to the walk path. I do realize that this is a very small space and I should have made it a little bit more bigger, but you know what, it's fine. But other than that, nothing really special about the Asian elephant enclosure. But if we go over here, this is where we have a capybara enclosure, and let's just drop down. This is how the capybaras look. They look pretty cool, I guess. Not really sure. They are very round in real life, but yeah, they're pretty slim in Minecraft. That is what I have realized. And also, of course, I had to add a fallen log, and I did decide to add a small pond because capybaras are actually semi-aquatic, if I'm not wrong. They do like swimming in water and stuff. So that's cool. And I did decide to add some small jungle area, like I don't know why I'm calling it jungle, but like a tree area for them to just rest in and relax and have like a cool home. And yes, I also decided to add a stone thingamajiggy, a big stone for them. Now, for some reason, I thought it was a good idea to add water or cauldron for them to drink water from when there is literally a pond over here. But you know what? They have multiple choices to choose from, so that is totally fine. But if we fly over here, wow, that makes a lot of sense. But if we go over here, this is the sloth enclosure. Now this was my very first attempt at building a custom tree, and I think I did a pretty decent job. This is from Archie's tree, or Hercules. I'm not sure how to tell his name, but yeah, he did a tutorial on how to build a Archie tree. So that is where I took the tree design from. And this is how the slots look. The slots are very slow, as you would expect. And I did build a platform for them to stay on and not fall into the ground or onto the ground. But for some reason, they keep on jumping off the platform, which is so annoying. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care at this point. These guys can just stay on land. But that is the sloth enclosure. And if we go over here, we have a Komodo dragon enclosure. Now, this was my second attempt at building a custom tree, and once again this was a pretty decent custom tree, I guess. I wouldn't call it a professional custom tree, but yeah, can you realize that I'm already very sleepy? But yeah, I'm sorry, it's just that I can't speak properly today, and this episode is taking extremely long to record. But we have a fallen log, we have a pond for them to drink water from, and this is a shelter. I decided to make the shelter for them to like sleep inside or stay inside, but this turned out to look like a skull, like a Komodo dragon skull. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. They can go inside and sleep inside whenever they want. And this was my old design for the food elevator thingy, but I do need to update this. But I think that is all we have for the enclosures. I think I have covered every single enclosure that is there in my zoo. Now, before we get into the safari thing, I would like to say that I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't speak today properly for some goddamn reason. And of course, a vehicle has to, disturb me when I'm recording. But I think that is all the enclosures that I have in the zoo. It's kind of weird how we went through all the enclosures this quick, saying that this video is probably like 30 minutes long, 35, or even longer than that. But yeah, now let's just go to the safari. Now, this is still a project that I'm working on. It's not complete, but this is a safari tour. Now, you enter through these big gates that are inspired from Jurassic Park, and you go inside the safari house, I guess. But you take tickets from this guy, you go inside, you have two robots and two bodyguards or soldiers or whatever you can call them, which are going to check you if you have like harmful stuff. And after they say okay, you can go inside over here and wait for the safari vehicle. And once the safari vehicle arrives, you can go and hop in. But this is how the waiting area looks. This is supposed to be a TV, so this is where we will be showing what not to do in a safari, like feed the animals, jump off the safari vehicle, scream a lion come and eat me, and all that cool stuff. We have some books, we have a dustbin so we can keep the stuff clean. And yeah, once the safari vehicle is I'm just realizing how dumb the ending of this whole episode is going to be. I'm like very, very sleepy. But once you get into the. Wait, what? Once you get into the safari vehicle, you can just go over here. Now, this is how the top view looks. I decided to use honey blocks for this because I think honey blocks look pretty cool. I really like them a lot and I think they suit the building. But yeah, we have this cool area over here, but once you get into the vehicle, they are going to be driving over here. This is where the vehicles are going to be parked. And as you can see, for the old viewers, I have removed the entire safari. There is nothing over here. I am planning on rebuilding the entire safari off camera, so I will be showing you guys that as well. But yeah, here is a tower that I built, and here is a river that I built as well. Now this river is going to be kind of the place where all the herbivores are going to be drinking water from. That is the plan. This is a very, very big river. And yeah, there is that. I will like update you guys once we start working on the safari again, but I'm just not very motivated to work on the safari again. But this is a tower. Now a bunch of people suggested me to build watchtowers, and you know what, I decided to build them in the safari. So now you can go inside the watchtower and you can climb these. Oh, we're stuck. Let's climb them up. I'm stuck once again. There we go. But you can climb this watchtowers. There we go. I was about to say you can climb the safari, but you can climb the watchtowers and you can watch the animals grazing, running around, and that's the overall idea of the watchtower. Where we will be working on the safari. Hopefully soon. I have some plans, but I really hope we do end up working on the safari soon. But other than that, that is all I have for this episode. My god, this episode took extremely long. I am tired, sleepy. I couldn't speak today properly for some reason. This whole episode is such a big mess. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Trust me, I'm not this crap at speaking. I can speak properly, but for some reason, I just couldn't speak properly today. But you know what? A few more screams and I'll be kicked out of my house. But it's like pretty late in the night. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, I would really appreciate if you could drop a like and subscribe, and let me know if you guys have any suggestions in the comment section below. Once again, hope you guys enjoyed the world tour. Once again, I can't speak properly, just pointing it out. But yeah, I will meet you guys in the next episode, and until next time, keep working hard, never give up, stay safe, please wear masks if you're going outside, and if you don't need to go outside, just stay inside the house and watch my videos. But yeah, bye.